that can put a team in this position. As much as you can play in your region and get prepared for only playing those same teams over and over and over, when you get thrown into another Battle Royale, the game that we love, in an environment that we especially love when it becomes global, I've got a feeling that these teams will need backups soon. They need to have more than one available drop. They have to have good loot routes elsewhere, especially for things like Pachinki. If you're a team who plays something a little bit more split up, a little bit more varied, okay, keep that as yours. But if it's such a contested area, you've got some balls on you to not back away.
Yeah, I mean, Steve alluded to it on the desk. The bigger picture that we look down the timeline is the fact that everyone's eyes on the prize when it's for PGI, right? And if you want to set a stance across the world and say, look, Pachinki's ours, no matter what happens, we're going to a $2 million World Finals at the end of the year, we still want to be going to that loot location. And everybody else, you have to set a precedent. You have to set a stance and say, this is ours, bugger off, find a new home, because we belong here. What better place to do it? No one's going out after these group stages are done. Yes, it's going to get extremely difficult because you're going into an elimination phase, even more so because the points will carry over to that elimination phase. But there's still this secondary backup plan that you do get another crack at the whip, so to speak. I think, you know, we're starting off this game. Again, this is the last one of the groups when we look towards Erangel. We do have the elimination match tomorrow. It would be wrong not to focus on Pachinki. I mean, if Liquid or C9 doesn't go there, then all the banter last night and World Cup has just been for nothing.
Well, look, we know what teams are like. Everyone talks big on the internet, and then suddenly in person they're a little quiet. Again, Frankie's been trying to poke the bear a little bit, see if anyone's willing to take the bait. But eventually, Cloud9 are going to have to accept the fact that you can't keep dancing with the devil and wonder why you're still in hell if they do lose out in Pachinki. But for now, we're going to find out if that's the case. We do see Cloud9 there. We're looking across the board, see if everyone is going for a similar location. Keep in mind, Liquid can just turn the screws on them if they want to.
We focus quite a lot on this Liquid and C9 fight, and that's fair play, but there is another fight that is a big contention, that's towards Windstrike and Tempo Storm. This is a couple of West Coast teams that like to move along that coastline between Gatka areas and so on and so forth. I heard Zampa in the lobby the other day just throwing a bit of banter saying, do you remember what happened last time you boys had to loot around here? And I remember years ago, Tempo have been on that road since day one. If there are any other teams lingering in the distance, they would pop every single tyre on every single vehicle, so no other team could basically do anything.
That
teams,
circle.
ooh, okay. That's a lot of water, unfortunately.
First couple of shots coming through. Not surprising it is in Pachinki. We said this is going to be where a lot of the fights, the early scuffles are going to be, but if anyone actually gets really aggressive, is going to make me pay attention, or if it's going to be that same posturing. If anyone gets caught out, you know they're going to feel awful about it as well, knowing they've cost their team so much so early on after all of that banter and all that prelude to this.
Remember yesterday, I think it was, or unfortunately it might have been the day before, it didn't quite pay off for Liquid. Excuse me, it was day one, where they decided to make a push on 17. 17 isn't in this group battle, so there is one less team in effect. They decided to get a bit fiery and a bit feisty. They pushed, unfortunately didn't go well. The Brothers in Arms just got completely battered with a pistol. We're looking further afield here. There is quite a big contest of teams over towards Milter Power and up towards the Lumberyard area. So your main points of contact will be, again, Pachinki. Still got the two teams to make a stance on that one. Maybe Windstrike catch Tempo Storm, lingering just above Gatka. VSG will have to come out and face the wrath of the Ninjas if they decide to set up camp. STK, a team that have surprised me at this tournament. We knew that they were definitely, I mean, any team that comes to this tournament is a bunch of fantastic players. You won't be here otherwise, right?
You've already made like a bit of an impression, but
to be up there on the top of the tables with 98 points, that's really setting a precedence and showing everyone else that, you know, they're not here to play around.
Right now, there's still no fights going on across the board just yet. We can see the map. I can assure you that. We're just checking in on the teams as soon as people start finding engagements always through. And it looks like they did just spot out K-Mind, so we'll switch back to Pachinki, take on the nade. And K-Mind, are you ready for this? Goes for the upper floor there for the nade. Obviously, K-Mind down below. We get all the information. They sadly do not. But let's keep those lines of combat in mind here. There was a little bit more of aggression coming out from one of the Team Liquid players. K-Mind happy to meet that as well. So both of them doing the dance here. It's not going to be easy. Considering such good players, they probably watch the other demos, try to work out, you know, the loot routes, going to be watching back on those VODs, going over them meticulously, trying to work out, okay, well, if they play like this, this is their rotation, this is their anchor, this is their positioning. But for now, we do see a couple of teams trying to maybe get those early positions. There's not too many compounds, but there's some real prime location that it looks like some of these teams are eyeing up very early on.
I suppose it also kind of depends where this circle falls. You know, it could still stay in water for the first 3, and then you'll get a weird and wonderful swing towards the coastline. Teams will be prepared for that. Lippo, completely just, no one's doing anything at the moment. That place is empty, so if someone wants to drive by, then it's going to be easy pickings for them to pick up some free gear on the way by.
So let's look at the positioning right now in Pochinki as well, because Nerf did just find Gemty. That's the big first strike. Instant death. There is no remorse, no mercy. This is going to be very, very quick pace. I don't see a potential trade just yet coming back in between the two. That was one player on their own, a little bit isolated from the rest of the pack for the teams in Pochinki. Let's see where they are. So we've got Nerf down in that kind of little deflate that runs through. Jeems is on the kind of back foot here, but someone else is getting a bit of attention. You can see the Cloud9 are being aggressive. They are pushing Team Liquid kind of into a more condensed area. Good nade, Profi receives a bit of a tag, but he's still in cover. Team Liquid aren't being as proactive as I expected, but Samty with a bit more of a forward position here, as Nerf is also making a move up as well towards Jeems. Both fronts having aggression on both sides. Nerf is just underneath. So again, Jeems is safe for now, and as is Nerf. Probably going to get a heal on, play safe. And we can look at across field at the other part of the action. We said teams were looking for areas early on, Rich, and apparently Prison is certainly one of them. A bit of looting certainly happened earlier, but we were talking about Aerowolf being a bit of a surprise. We were liking what they were doing, but right now, they're down to just 2 players.
I mean, if Crystal Luster can remove them from this position, not only is it 4 points in a placement, it's a very, very big spot to take a hold of. All right, you are banking on the circle coming inland towards you, but up on those rocks area, for the simple fact that the whole prison itself acts as a barrier and kind of stops you getting shot from behind because no one's going to be up there. But it just gives you so much cover and allows you a lot of maneuverability. There's also options to be able to get completely out of there should someone hard press on you. We've seen it back in the days where FaZe dominated teams from up high. This looks like it's going to be a bleed out unless he gets right there. The vehicle.
All the smoke.
Okay.
It's bounced. This is risky.
It is, especially when you've got one player down low. And basically all you're doing now is you just send in a beacon that you're hiding in the smoke. This is the problem, and especially with the grenade meta, how it is at the moment. I like the fact that he's not healing there. They're actually going to leave that smoke, so that kind of acts as a little bit of bait, so to speak. They'll focus on that as a point for now. I am seeing shots in Pochinki, so clearly someone's been spotted. Not seeing anyone else go down in the kill feed just yet. Samu. Assassin's Creed up high.
I love this up close and personal fighting. It's so good. Incognito have finally arrived to the fight. We saw them up earlier towards the lumberyard. They've kind of pushed their way down slightly further, I guess to the north, kind of playing off the top of the hill. Not wanting to give up too much of the terrain either, but obviously wanting kills to try and put themselves in a better position going forward.
Juicy. With the confirmation there on Cat Out. Profi spots Gemty. That's a decent amount of damage done, which will force him back and also maybe make Ibiza step up and moving into a position, and that kind of bait and switch like that. Profi's actually getting rather aggressive.
He's chomping at the bit here. Look at this.
They'll be able to hear this, though. If he doesn't know Ibi's there, he'll give him the information.
Yeah, but Nerf's got his back as well. Like, Nerf's got a really nice angle. Jeems, I guess, could be a problem. It's if one gets behind them, Ibi's in trouble.
Where's he been shot from
down
there?
Very, very low. It looks like Cloud9 are finding angles on him. Look how surrounded he is. Profi is waiting. Profi says hello and says goodbye. Ibi outdoes him. Straight up punish. Waits for the reflex coming from Cloud9, but they best him. Cloud9 still at 3 standing as Team Liquid look a little worse for wear.
Yeah, they've been smashed down to 50%, but what a swing from Ibi. Just completely destroys him on the turnaround. So as much as an embarrassment that was, 2 players do flood it, and they confirm Ibiza is at least a transfer back. So 2 points in the bag then at the moment. It is C9 who is winning this battle for Pochinki, and we did speak about it. This does so much damage long term. You're late to the circle, it's destroying your gear, you're abusing the utility factor to do whatever, and ultimately, it just completely ruins the the long game.
It certainly does. And as we are seeing those rotations coming in, we've been very focused on Pochinki. You can't blame us, but I know people out there have been watching for those rotations, and those people are D-Man and Scoom. Guys, what's been happening in the meantime?
Yeah, we were just talking about the Airwolf 1. We noticed those guys, they rotated on 3 minutes, and they've got absolutely no utility, no meds. They used the single smoke they had to get that one guy up, and that was why that fight at Prison. I think they were expecting to get in and clear Prison out. I don't know, but they went so early.
And this is going to definitely affect them from the mid to late game section. The fact that they have no utility, they're going to struggle. I mean, position is important, but if they shrink out from them, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, the Rangers got themselves some free loot over from the bridge, but that Team Liquid fight in Cloud9 is going to keep going in the blue, isn't it, guys?
It definitely is. No one wants to move. They want the wipe, and Samty's still there. The remainders of Liquid are certainly feeling the pressure for Cloud9. They want the kills, and they also want to get out of Pochinki because they've got other things to do. Liquid, in theory, don't have much to lose. They're in a very good spot. If anything, they're there just to completely annoy Cloud9, and they're doing more than that. Jeems just not only confirmed on Lowe's, but he knocked the other, and this is just him going now. He wants aggression, and he's getting it.
I mean, last night, he were giving some serious banter on the timeline. This would be fantastic if he knocked out 3 members of Cloud9, especially in the position they're in. Remember, these are the ones that need the points. Liquid have been having a beautiful day so far, which has given them that momentum and that buffer to be able to do whatever they wanted.
I want to stay on board with Nerf right now. I want to see what happens with him. He's the last man alive. Did they go too deep? This is too much. I think, again, they got so focused on the short term, they forgot about the long term. All these rotations are coming in. There's so little available. Everyone's trying to fight for that small bit of room. But Nerf upstairs holding his breath. Jeems is downstairs as well. Nades come in and the nades land. It's Samty's there. And Liquid, as I said, annihilate Cloud9. That is going to hurt a lot of those North American hearts out there. It looks so good to start with, but Liquid have nothing to gain apart from pride technically. They're in a good spot. Obviously, you want to keep going, and there's so much damage. That tempo storm coming in. Glad to see them doing well for themselves.
I mean, one American roster, North American roster, unfortunately, has fallen. We'll see what Tempo Storm can do. This is your NA NPL champions, #1 seed coming into this. But they have to face the mighty OMG. Line KK pinned between absolutely a rock and a hard place. Well, it was behind a UAZ. They've gone, they're down, they're dead. OMG are not having a good tournament so far. Yesterday, the performance just wasn't there from what we saw at PGI, and unfortunately, it seems to be continuing, Lauren.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. Again, the thing is, in their region specifically, they've still been doing well. They've kept up to a similar standard of what we saw at those global finals. But the issue is, if it doesn't translate into a global scene, we've theorized a couple of teams from other regions might be struggling in a similar way. That could change, they could still pick it up, but they certainly are not keeping up to the caliber we had hoped.
Not when they're coming off the back of 2 wins. WGL, they took first place, and then the DGL 2019 League, they took first place as well. You're coming in as a #1 seed with a target on your back, setting a statement, which, to be fair, actually for a fair few regions so far in this competition, that's kind of been the genuine story. I mean, look at ENCE. It took a while for them to really even do anything. Compared to what we saw in the PEL, they were just smurfing the lobbies towards the end of the week.
Well, Scenario Wolf and NIP splitting the compound. Now, I love this area. I absolutely adore this little compound. It's kind of to the west of Lipovka, up in the hills. You get some nice view across it, but you can get crept up on both sides here. So I'm wondering if either team do want to back away, if there's anything else available. Everyone's looking for where teams are, making a couple of notes here and there, I can imagine. But shoot to kill, losing out on Adam. Hello? Hello?
He took him out in midair.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. What was that?
What are NIP up to?
What was that? I mean, the Great Escape just gets
the Great Escape's about to get worse.
The question is, Lauren, does he think this was a solo?
It doesn't matter now. They know what's happening here. Good tags coming through. NIP are going to be put on alert. MBS is back up, though, and that's the main thing. MBS has to take the time to heal. You can see those shots coming through on the bike there. The shrink of the circle comes in. That's kind of centered around the north of prison. But we have to keep our eyes on this little bit of a battle. Gaxi has to buy time, and he knows it. He's going to allow the rest of NIP to get stronger, get the the heal on, get themselves prepared, because it looks like Aerowolf can't really help Avo right now. He's pretty much done for.
Will be confirmed. And the second Aerowolf team is also falling down RDK. Luke confirms him. So again, NA. First kill in the bag. Zampa, dink. You just hear the headshot land. That's a fair amount of distance as well, the Blue Bees with the SKS.
It's nice.
And now they'll have to commit all this smokes. It's very open. Okay, the bike's up, which provides you a little bit of cover. But again, you need those bikes to be able to get out of that
it's
dip.
Like a good 400-meter shot he's banging out there.
I mean, the problem is it's open, all right? It's okay if you've got your back covered and you have the smokes and you have something like a UAZ, you can pop the tires and maybe set up a barrier, but they need those bikes in order to get out of that position because it's complete no man's land. You do that on foot, you're going to die.
Absolutely. Beyond that, we need to consider the teams as well, because we're talking about, the top 8 positions, but also qualifying points really do matter coming into these games here, Richard. And I know you're very much versed in the way this works, but what teams should we be looking at to try and solidify themselves if they don't make it straight through qualify in a good spot. If they have to go through the elimination process, what teams are we looking at here who need to start grinding out that consistency of points?
I think it would be absolutely unfair not to mention both Rangers and OMG. You know, it's not been, for the standard that they've set coming out of their region specifically, it's not been what we expected. And I think even the fans at home want to see their teams and, you know, want to see their poster boys been up there with the best of them.
Yes.
For C9, there's definitely a lot of pressure on now for the simple fact that they were 6th in this group. Going out in 16th does not do them any favours. Again, nobody goes home today. Everyone will go down to an elimination or directly to the grand finals. But because the points will carry over, you need every single point humanly possible to carry him into that elimination phase. I think it's a great format.
Oh, Samty, that's rough. Windstrike had so many players here. They've been holding the line. James is last alive, and I don't know for how long. He's going to be forced into a battle here as well. If you see Samty instantly die, that's probably going to be as to why.
And his friend.
And there goes Liquid as well. This is the problem when you have two Titans, two heavyweights who are going to do damage to each other in Pachinki. By the time you come out, if you win that fight, you're in no shape to take on the others. This is, again, what I'm saying about fighting without a backup. If Cloud9 or Team Liquid, if they were in the position to need one, do not have a backup drop, you're going to start seeing me raise an eyebrow going, surely there has to be more in mind for you guys.
There has to come a point where you say, this is pure ignorance, right? You know, they're committing so much to it that C9 will probably be going to elimination again if they don't start winning these battles. You know, it's fine for Liquid. They've got points at the top. They're sitting quite happily. 27 kills, plus the 4 that they've picked up today.
They've been getting frags too.
They're literally over double of Entus and Aerowolf 1 in terms of frags. They're happy. They don't need to finish top here. They can do whatever they want. They're probably going to qualify after this. But for C9, all the pressure is on them.
Pretty much. So, Circle coming through, Rich. Who's got the good positions here? There's not a huge amount of compounds in this area. Obviously, you are looking at a lot of open terrain, but you've got that nice hillside coming through. There's a lot to be played with. Who's got the kind of best cuts here?
I think at the moment, you'd have to look towards Incognito for the simple fact that you get this little bit of a crossroads. Okay, if there isn't many people down south for them to mop up, maybe Windstrike fall victim to this. They can take the rock side of Prison. There is the remnants of Aerowolf 1 that are kicking it around just on the lower side. They've already been dinked and damaged up early, so maybe some easy pickings for them. Tempo Storm have all committed to that ditch that we spoke about earlier on. Now, the positive thing for them is that they had vehicles. They've managed to build themselves a little barrier. The team that can see them and has the angle on them has to move into the circle. This has kind of set them up that they can play border control here, maybe pick up the Bluebees. STK, they might have it a little bit rough because they have to go between AHQ and NIP. Aerowolf 7 and NIP, that'll be a stalemate for a while, not a problem. VSG, however, Starlord, decent fragger. We've seen him doing some incredible work with the bolt actions yesterday. Unfortunately, Tex one himself, he's down, not quite dead yet, but the Blue's on the back and they have to move out of Lippo. Everything coming out of Lippo is uphill.
Yeah, and there's not much cover.
No,
you've got a couple of dips by the road.
A few rocks here and there.
But Starlord's embracing that. But you said it as well. Shoot to kill are going to really struggle getting into position because of the likes of NIP potentially. You've got Aerowolf up there. You've got potentially AHQ as well, gatekeeping from that northern side. This is going to get very, very tricky. It's going to keep these teams on their toes as the Rangers are going to continue to fire from this position. They don't have much to worry about.
I really want to see the observers in the back what Bluebees are going to do because they're in 2 vehicles and kind of where else do you go? And same for STK. They have to commit to something. STK might run into AHQ. It's certainly going to be a dungeon gauntlet no matter what you do and a complete firing range. Adam all tanked up. Smokes are up for Tempo Storm because they know that teams will begin to move. And again, Tempo's inside the circle, but they're in a very...
Where can Adam go? Look at all these compounds, Rich. As soon as he gets close, it just fire, fire, fire. You see all those traces. He's found somewhere, maybe, no, maybe not. You got to pick your poison. There's nothing available. Shoot to kill, a little late on coming in, and they've been punished thoroughly. Adam tried to find somewhere for the rest of his team, but the rest of them are creeping further forward. It's going to be around the back of AHQ, but you said it, the Bluebees aren't in much of a better position either. They also have the similar problem.
There is a potential that they dug their own grave here. There's a saying of you poke the bear, you get the claws. They took down Zampa earlier on, and they left him in that position with his teammates. So he's been able to get him back up. They've got themselves back together. They've grouped up as a team of 4 as well. They'll hold him at gunpoint on this edge here.
They certainly will. Sharky, fragging power galore, this man. 8 times on that mini, going to do very well here. And I think they've got a very good consideration as to where the Bluebees will be coming from, as AHQ going to get to work as well. It's everyone eyes towards them. As soon as those shots came in, as soon as those smokes came up, you can see everyone's attention being drawn over, and there it goes. We're down to just one left for the Blue Bees. Everyone who is on the outskirts is really struggling, and SDK are seeing all this go down. They're in no better position. If anything, just a little later.
Because AHQ have a compound, they have some sort of a line of sight here, which gives them the elevated area in order to shoot. Halo goes down, Zampa finds him, NA on NA. Oh, random shot from Incognito though. That's
Where was that?
Bloody decent bit of distance
Like
there. That's the yeah, that's the little 4-stack compound just off to the right hand side of
they've
prison.
got height, so they can actually lay down a good bit of fire, and they're stealing kills too, which is great for them. A couple of points coming in.
Circle does not do any favors for Tempo. I don't know what they're going to be looking like. That'll be Zampa's second knock now, so the next time is pretty much dead. You ain't getting up from that one.
No.
Oh, and 8 times an AWM. Hello.
And that would be very tasty.
Hulk could do with it. Get himself up there and maybe do some damage to the Rangers, because
The Rangers are being a real roadblock for any team
Yeah.
out of Lipovka. They've been a real nuisance piece.
that's the problem. Again, we mentioned it, getting out of Lipovka. It's a nightmare in itself, but when
Yeah.
you've got a team holding you back so hard, that AWM could do some damage though, pick it up. Starlord didn't do much with it yesterday. Maybe his teammate can do something now. Grab it, go to work. Maluk goes down, rather unfortunate. He's
They
confirmed
went on a
as well.
split. They've tried so many options here. Tempo Storm know there are very few areas available,
Oh,
so they've tried to split themselves up. Sharky's out there with, I think, your boy Dre as well. They're going to be suffering a lot of pressure coming in. Sharky is still alive, but for how long? How long can he hold on to this? He's taken down one of the AHQ players, CC. Your boy Dre got knocked. I don't think he's dead, but I don't know how much cover he can get to before the revive could potentially come out. It's not. He's been found, so now the two remaining members of Tempo Storm are quite split, and Sharky has so many players in front of him.
Enters, they're getting ready for the NIP walkover. They finally come out, the ninjas. Speaking of ninja, hiding behind a rock. There's one, there's two. Third one lingering in the back lines. The call will come through now, and his teammates should be able to maybe press up and now hold NIP back. They have to be aware, though, the Aero Wolves are also coming out. NIP's down just like that. Split between two teams. As soon as they make a move, they had a great compound. But as soon as that circle's gone, because you've got no backup plan, you've not put anyone deep inside the circle to get a decent amount of ground or something to work with. You're out on foot and you're out in the open, easy pickings.
Speaking of easy pickings, this could be exactly that. If the shot comes through, one more certainly does that. That's VSG eventually turning up. They were out towards the east. They were the ones struggling with the Rangers further south. They swung north, and now they're going to find Entus as well. This is not going to be an easy fight. Indigo pops a nade in the pocket of one, but is there going to be a trade there? Is the teammates close by? The nade goes a little far, but it's going to speed the process up of losing out on another player.
That crate was looted, so I'm wondering if VSG have got the AWM in play. It might not matter too much because the Rangers are sniffing them out. They're hunting these players down.
Oh, Sharky's still alive as well.
There was 4 teams that went for that hut, and thankfully he was the one that got there basically before them, and everyone else just completely decimated them. You had Crystal Luster up one side, you had Windstrike in another. Ooh, snake in the grass.
Yeah, Zampa split as well. We were talking about Tempo Storm putting themselves in different positions. Sharky was there, Zampa was one side, but you can see they've got some real venom just coiled, waiting for anyone to come past. And Windstrike are not having a good time either. You got CL forcing them all the way back from north to south. You can see it right there. They're stuck on the hillside. If they run down it, Incognito could join in. They're in a very tricky spot. Rangers again, though, not in a bad position out in the east. It's who moves first, who gets that good ground. There's about 3 teams vying for the eastern side, about 2 potentially towards the north, and the south is a lot of snakes and a lot of scary prospects. You've got to get past Incognito.
Enters are playing really proactive here. They'll take the last remnants of a little shack and compound in the middle of nowhere. So they've got something to work with. Sharky is kind of being a nuisance towards the remnants of Windstrike. He's basically making him focus on them so Zamp can get the kill here. Jorski's got to go. It's time to move. Vehicles up. Sharky, he's still committing to it because he knows he's going to die from this blue. Well, I'm looking at this map. It looks like Jorski somehow. Nope, dead.
No, absolutely not. Sharky's trying to make something happen, but oh, you can see this Crystal Luster. This is comfortable shooting, and he does get the kill in the end. That's not just the knock that came through. That was from another team. That was Incognito that knocked him, but the kill came in, and you can see the kills being racked up here. The team in the north, they might get pressured soon to move out of that compound by this circle, but they've racked up so many bodies, and Zampa's still alive.
So the thing what this does now, this kind of circle and this kind of game, you've got Rangers in 14th, you've got Incognito down in 10th, you've got Crystal Luster in 13th. So these are all your bottom teams in this group, doing work at the moment, picking up a lot of frags, picking up a lot of points for placement. And this does damage to the teams that are trying to claw the way just above the elimination points factor.
They're going to keep pushing this. Crystal Luster.
They might as well. They need the points.
They do, and it looks like they're being assertive because they need to get in the circle anyway, and I guess the team in their way right now is Ariel. Zampa has been caught out, and guess who? It's Crystal Luster. These guys across the board at the moment really coming into their own. We still have Incognito, though, alive with 4 players. We still have the Rangers up with 4 players. Entus have a good few players up too, so do not think it's just them. They've just been in the kill feed a hell of a lot in the right place.
The one thing that I will say for Korean teams, I think they're very, very disciplined. You don't see them just randomly wandering off doing these. Okay, now and again you will see the 2-2 splits, for instance, but they do like to stick together as a 4-man stack. It's going to be interesting, especially for Rangers. They are all together on the back lines, but they need to deal with Incognito first. This circle will dictate where we go for the game. Will anybody have a compound left? We'll see as she shifts in now. No. Okay, Incognito, they've got to come out from that compound, but they sent Insight up front and center, so he'll be able to sniff out a little ridge, a dip, a divot, a tree line, whatever, get themselves in this. And to be honest, VSG, Entus, and Crystal Luster, and potentially even Rangers,
they're all going northern side here.
Incognito could get lucky, and maybe they just factor one another.
It's a very scary gun. It's big, it's green, and it's mean, and it's Hulk holding it, also living up to all of those descriptive words. So the Rangers do have to be a little aware that there's a big, big factor there that could maybe hinder them, but they're being aggressive and they're going all together. They're not going to be slowing down. You can see the shots coming through. Long DD going to prepare himself for what's coming. He's going to hear these shots in the background. The nades come out. Hulk has to be aware. They have to play this smart. The nade did work. That finds one of the Rangers. This slows them down, and now Crossfire comes in from Incognito. The Rangers try to make a play. They'd stop that Lipovka team, which is VSG from earlier on, and now they're suffering at their hands, but the third party could happen. But it looks like VSG want to get aggressive on this. They're pushing back down towards the south. They're pushing down towards the Rangers. This could be insanity.
Well, I mean, they've already been split and they realise that another player's been taken out. If they commit to the res as well, you're down to 1 player to hold the line. Mintiel, unfortunately, will fall. So the Rangers, from having a 4-man stack, are down to 1 man. What can he do? Probably not too much. If Ronan manages to land this shot, that'll be them going out, and unfortunately,
it's Incognito to do it too.
Not been able to do a great deal there. They had so much time, so much room. Maybe you could say they could have pushed up north, attacked a team from behind, did some damage onto them, picked up some points, but
Rich,
they're gone.
4 teams remain. We have a lot of 4-man squads too. That's the scary one. You have CL, North, I guess West-ish. They've got some nice ground to work off. ENF, Entus, good ground in the northeast. VSG, not so much so. They have to fight it, but Incognito have the entirety of the south. But the ground they're working with, not ideal. A little light on the cover. You can see them trying to toy with what they have remaining. But still, some very, very scary teams still up in the northern side. Very little keeping them safe. And you can see now Crystal Luster catching a glimpse of Incognito as they have to make their way a little further forward, being forced into the sights of the other teams.
Remember, Incognito have not have to do a massive amount of work here so far, so they'll have the utility. They'll be able to build themselves a smoke wall. The circle has gone their way. Hulk knocking on the door. And she realizes that Entus are just lingering in the distance. VSG could really use these points to send them flying up the table.
It's coming in. CL are helping out, and VSG suddenly come in. They're trying to completely combine to take down Entus. Yak's just fallen, and look at CL, aggression. They heard the fight going on. It's go time, but can they spot out the players? They're laying in the grass. They're being cautious, and it looks like they haven't seen them just yet. Crystal Luster have to be careful. They can't overstep. They can't be lackluster in focus. They have to be so cautious everywhere they go, because now suddenly they've been folded on. How are VSG still alive here?
But the thing is, by them going down to a different team, it alerts them that there are VSG members still kicking it and lingering around, and not many of them. Incognito have decided to get in the middle of the map. This is a good read from them, and they're being preemptive and very proactive.
I don't think CL can push VSG comfortably and clear that out without exposing themselves to Incognito. Incognito, as much as they are playing a little from the low ground, are good on the circle. VSG, however, do have to worry about Incognito. They definitely have line of sight, but there's Incognito finding one of the players from CL. This is nice aggression. Long DD looking for a way to alleviate some of that pressure, but there's no easy angles to work with. They're trying to create walls of cover with these smokes. smokes.
It's a really good extension, but here are the party spoilers. VSG from behind. They finally come out of the shack, finds one. Doesn't connect with the second. 15 kills in the bag.
Huge play.
Long DD is absolutely having a beautiful day. Can he put a fifth one on the board?
He's looking for it. He's trying as best he can. We still have the 3 teams alive. You're going to have to be careful. Incognito are going to be the spoilers to both parties here. Oh, that blue is going to hurt. Oh, long DD goes down. That's a devastating bit of play coming out. Maybe just fumbling a little, being so scared to work forward. But by seeing that in the kill feed, VSG are capitalizing. We got 1 man alive, and he is being a real pain to both teams. How is he still doing this?
If he manages to pick up another member of Crystal, that's not only a placement factor, but it's another point in the bag, so...
Oh, Ronan.
These... Oh, go on, 2 versus 1, do it.
There it
one.
is. As soon as you move forward, it looks like Crystal Luster are done for. They are, and now let's look at who remains. It's the 1-man band against 3 of Incognito. Surely he can't do any more. He's being surrounded. You got Ronan on one side, you got another on the other. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Incognito put themselves in the spotlight.
The Aussies coming out big. That's exactly what they needed. They held the compound for a while, but they didn't stay in it. They didn't rest on the laurels, and I'm a big fan of that. They decided to go forward, get across the road while everyone else was fighting.
Yeah.
Picking the fights in this is a super, super, super important factor, because time and time again, you'll shoot at somebody, it's like, okay, well, we didn't need to do that because we'd given away his position. Now everyone's focused on us.
Stray, yeah.
Plenty of kills in the bag as well. How many is that? 14 in total?
Yeah, they're powered by
24-point
Shoeys,
game.
and well, to do a Shoey, there has to be the beard.
Oh, yes, sorry.
It's horrible. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It's not right.
You ever done one?
No.
I don't believe
I
you.
refused. I refused to
Really?
do one. I mean, look,
It's a waste of a good trainer.
it is. That's the problem. I only had one. When I went to sales like this is going to be very, very, you know.
He's cost me 600 quid.
I'm
James
not
have been
rich.
loving life.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I'm not. I'm not James. But that's really good for them. I actually didn't think they were the ones going to come out on top of that. CL looked so good working down from the north, but you've got to, I guess, consider CL had 2-3 teams in their way, and they try to fight through it. But Incognito, you said it right. They played that timing well to push up, take the advantage on the circle, and just hold the ground.
Yeah, Crystal lost it with a 15-point game. They took the fights at the end, and it was nicer than. I mean, there's a double-edged sword, right? We said, okay, it's. Yeah. Don't rush VSG at the moment while they have the compound, but unfortunately it was VSG that basically came behind and stuck a bit of a knife in the back. You've got to deal with these individual snakes and these solo players because they can cause and be a nuisance and cause problems late game. So clearing your backside, dealing with it, making sure that you don't have to worry about anything like that, and you can focus just looking ahead and holding W rather than constantly having a head on a swivel, because you have to commit one person. Even when we get to these last circles, having 4 players alive is so crucial. All right, yes. You will trade off when you're looking for houses, compounds, a good place to get a foothold. You send your scout off, and unfortunately just gets murdered as he turns up to a team of 4 like, haha, free point for us. Yes, that happens, but having 4 players alive going into these circles so you can micromanage the positions, you can check every single corner, every single angle. It's crucial.
Absolutely is. Incognito, I'll take you out for no portos, don't worry. If no one at home knows what that is, you'll get it right, don't worry. You'll work it out, give it a Google. Anyway, enough from us. I want to hear from the Aussies, and they're not down under, they're just down with Freya, so I mean, let's head down there.
That is exactly right, Lauren. We are down here with the winning team, and I just want to say, Frankie talked about, specifically to Ronan, but to you guys beforehand, do you think she's kind of your lucky charm now?
Yeah, I think all of us are big fans of Frankie, so I would say yeah.
Well, we're down here with some Frankie fans. I hope you're hearing this, Frankie, now. I want to talk about the game. That was an absolutely incredible showing from you. I want to talk about that final circle, because there was you, VSG, Crystal Luster. Why did you decide to perhaps go to Crystal Luster first rather than VSG?
Yeah, so we knew that the west side, we had like some ledges and stuff on the west side of the zone, so we kind of just moved more towards that side. Also because Crystal Luster were getting third-partied, so we just joined in on that.
So you felt like you kind of capitalized on potentially the distraction that they were having from VSG, yeah. So how are you guys feeling? Because you came second last match. First 2 matches weren't particularly great showings, but now you've got some placement points under your belt. So you feeling confident going into the next 2 matches?
Yeah, we had a lot of rough games on the first day, and as well as the first 2 games early today. But we're kind of we're feeling our groove now, and we're playing a lot more confidently. So yeah, I think we're feeling it.
Well, I mean, Ronan mentioned that when the interview with Frankie, saying you were going to be playing your game. But what is your game? Esports teams say that a lot. Can you give us some secrets away?
I don't want to give away too much, but our game is pretty much capitalizing on as much as possible. It's really hard to do at this high level, which is probably why we struggled a lot in the first day, but just going for kills and playing flashy.
I like that. I mean, we love some flashy plays. And as you said, you guys are from the Oceania region. I mean, you were the top team among that, but coming here, the teams are of a higher level, right? Are you feeling like you're adapting to that now?
Yeah, it definitely took us by surprise on the first day. We're getting punished for... We knew we were going to get punished, but we're getting punished for even more than we thought. So, yeah, we're just... we definitely we did a VOD review last night, and we're trying to adapt as best as we can.
Well, you really are adapting so well. I can't wait to see what happens in these final 2 matches. Thank you very much, Insight. We're going to head back to the desk.
That we are. The Aussies themselves, Incognito, managed to get themselves a win on the board. Almost a prelude in the previous game as they were able to get that second on Miramar as well. Joining me to my right-hand side, I've got Toffees and Avenger, guys. Incognito getting the win.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Oi, oi, oi!
Oh, get me off of here.
We've been waiting all day, man. No, listen, they deserve it because the first day they played, they got a whopping. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Prepare yourself. 10 points.
Wow!
Huge, okay? That game alone, they like doubled and a half, okay? So they put up huge numbers that time, 24 points. The last game, they put up another big game. So this is exactly what we talked about. Learning from the first one, preparing yourself for surviving the elimination round. This is exactly how you do it. Incognito is not flying under the radar anymore.
No, definitely not. They jumped themselves from 24th spot and up to kind of the mid-pack now. So if they keep this up the next 2 games, they could be looking very good. Maybe even if they have amazing 2 games, maybe even jumping into the top 8.
That's right. It was anything but a stealth mission. I got it, Toffees. And we're going to be moving into our highlights here for our previous game. And it all did start, of course, with Cloud9 and Team Liquid crippling each other and making each other fall down very swiftly.
I think it's funny. Profi's one ask at the start was, please don't kill me. And he was the first one to go down in the battle of brutality there in Pachinki. It started out crazy, sort of a lot of kills early on in this match, and then it was a bit of a doldrum, if you will, as everyone rotated into a very tough area to sort of advance in. And that's where I think Crystal, Luster, and it came out on top because they both drop in that area. They found the strongest hold, and everyone else just died in transition.
I was very surprised not to see kind of any of these teams coming in from the east.
And that is it. These highlights, of course, brought to you by NVIDIA. Big points coming in from some unlikely names. However, even if it does not bump them up to getting to the grand finals, getting points here, very